tell a bit about myself, why I am here today. So I work together with SVI and I coordinate language projects in our organization. Originally, I'm from Russia. I'm Russian. Now I'm speaking with you also from a Russian village. And during my life path, I was in the situation when I had to learn new languages. And I started to learn German. So I speak fluently now German. English somehow attached on the way, during the way. So I speak now English and now I'm learning French. And with my colleagues, I communicate in French. So in my tools now, my working tools are now English, French, German, Russian as a mother tongue, and I can quite well understand Spanish. So I can share with you my experience and some methods, some life hacks that help me sometimes to learn languages faster. Usually when we were thinking, starting to learn a different language, it starts always with a motivation. Why? What for? And that is the most important part of the language. Language is a very a lively, vivid organism, like all of us, and it doesn't exist without humans. It exists in relation in communication. So, and when you have a frame that obliges you to communicate, this is the best method to apply and to learn a new language. So when you want to learn a language, try to be always in the situation that forces you, that motivates you to communicate, to interact. The best way is, of course, to go to the country where you can speak with people, from those people you can learn. But also, it is good. What helps also to learn the same language with the people who also don't know this language. It helps for you. It helps to compare your knowledge with somebody else, to take some new skills, new words. And for me, the best way to break the language barrier, to start speaking, was to be in international group, to be a volunteer, like volunteering projects, international projects, help us to apply the language, to be in the situation when we are forced, when we are obliged to communicate with our group mates, with the host of the project. During the day, we have to decide who is on duty today, but not in the school, but really like decide who can do the dishes, who will cook, what do we cook, how do we spend our free time, how do we share our working tasks. We do some jokes, and it helped a lot. Like it helped a lot in learning English and in breaking the language barrier. Being in the situation when people from different countries don't have the same skill like you, don't speak English. Sometimes they don't speak English well. Sometimes they speak better than you. From those who speak better, you learn. From those who don't speak so well, you train another skills. You train your skill to explain, to be understood, to get the feedback, to sometimes the people who don't speak English well or another foreign language, but they manage to communicate better than you because they are very inventive, very intelligent in looking for methods how to explain their needs, how to interact, how to communicate. And besides like learning grammar, besides improving your vocabulary or listening skills, it's very important to train this ability, the ability to use the tools that are available for you at this moment. You can learn in English, you can know in English like 5 words, but then you can jungle with those 5 words perfectly, using them in different combinations, using a pen and a pencil, your body language, emotions of your face to achieve your communicative goal. And this is a very great ability to communicate in foreign language. It's good to train vocabulary, grammar, and pronunciation, but it's also very important to train on every step. If you just started to learn the language, if you're intermediate, upper intermediate, or advanced, it's always necessary to apply your language and to use the tools that are available for you at this level of learning. Don't think that you have started to learn new words or to learn new the grammar, and then you are not ready to speak before you have achieved a certain level of language proficiency. You can speak and at every level of your language proficiency. Sometimes, like commonly, sometimes we think that it's necessary to learn more words, to learn the rules of combination of those words, and then it helps us to communicate. Of course, it helps, and just it's necessary to understand what exercise you choose for certain skills. Like if you feel that there is a lack of vocabulary for you, then choose the exercises that train your vocabulary. If you feel that you have a lack of, you don't know how to express the past or the future or the doubts or polite forms, then you can choose the exercise that trains especially this skill. Or you feel that like people, when you talk, people don't understand, even if you talk really common things, then maybe it's good to train the vocabulary. The focus of the training is very important, but very often vocabulary and grammar and pronunciation, listening, writing, or speaking, they're very combined with each other. In every step, like one aspect doesn't go without the another aspect. I would like to show you a video of one, not the video, but just a link, to share with you a link with a girl who explains it very well. So I'm not the blogger, not the speaker, so I use just the knowledge of the people who already passed this in a very good way, already trained it professionally. So I can share my screen to show you one method how to, for example, to train vocabulary. These are very important steps to learn new vocabulary. Like first you have to understand what words you want to train, collect words, and second step, this step is usually skipped by people when they read a word and they try to apply it. It's necessary to build pronunciation confidence with a new word. Like if because you don't use a word if you don't know how to pronounce it, and your brain avoids the pronunciation of unusual sounds, just not to make you look stupid or funny, and that's why for using a word it's necessary to build the pronunciation confidence, to know how to pronounce the word, to know it automatically, and to obtain this automatic skill it's necessary to pronounce a word like minimum 30 times in a row, the same word, to understand clearly how the phonetic of this word is working, and then to see how this new word is used in the context. For this method, there are the website like Younglish. In this video, this brilliant girl shows on which websites it's possible to use to see the context of the word, certain word, to see the context, to see the pronunciation, because the internet looks for different. This website gives videos of speeches where a certain new word is used. So you can see the context. You can pronounce the examples of these sentences where the word is used, and then you can create your own examples, and then you have already understanding how the word sounds. You can articulate it easily. You know the context, and you can play with this context on your own. This is like one of the methods that helped me. An example how to train pronunciation and listening is to shadow the sounds. You can choose a movie or a person, a character of the movie, an actress or actor whom you really like, and some phrases you can repeat with the same intonation, with the same mimics, copying this actor, like being an actress yourself. And that helps to train the pronunciation. And we know that everything is connected. So if you know how to pronounce a word correctly, then you can listen correctly. Then you can understand better. But if you don't recognize certain sounds, you cannot produce them. And as an example, for me, as a Russian, in French, all sounds connected with "e", for example, there are many in French which are connected with "e". It can be "e", many options for it, but I don't recognize it. And when I start speaking, it brings to confusions because I don't feel this difference. That's why for pronunciation, a good technique for pronunciation is to copy, but to copy consciously, to understand how your tongue is working, being very attentive. Also, sometimes I receive the question, do you think in a different language? And at some point of learning language, it happens when I started thinking in different language. What helped me to do it in French? There is one Russian philologist who created the technique of reading two texts, and this technique helped me to be immersed in the language. This method exists for many languages. So using this technique of Ilya Frank, he has adapted, he takes an original text, for example, in French, but they exist in now more than 20 languages. For example, in French, and then he adapted texts for starters. When I read the text, but I see the translation into Russian. The translation is not complete, but in the beginning there is more translation. At the end of the text there is less translation. And this way, I started to read Bonjour Tristesse de Françoise Sagan, and I was so immersed in the book, so I didn't notice the translation afterwards with the time. And after reading this book, like being emotionally immersed in this literature, in this book, I started, this click happened, and I started to think in French. I started to build my phrases more on the French wise and not to translate it from Russian to French. So this method exists also for learning Russian. So if you want to learn Russian, you can read a story and slowly be immersed in the language. But using the method of Ilya Frank, I read The Little Prince, the Bonjour Tristesse, Le Petit Nicolas, and they exist a lot of books.
I think it's also a good idea to, as you were saying, to learn a language through reading a book or watching a TV show, because I guess you associate language learning to something fun and positive, something that you like. So it seems less of a work and more it's a fun activity, I guess. What do you think?
Yes, it helps a lot. It definitely helps. It just depends on the level of language proficiency, what you have. Also, commonly thinking, like many people think, like watching movies with subtitles, that can help a lot, like subtitles on the same language. But there is a technique that improves this method, watching a movie with subtitles, because watching it with subtitles, you concentrate rather on reading, and you simplify automatically. You simplify the task for you. You are concentrated on reading the subtitles. But if you choose a special tool to postpone subtitles for 1 or 2 seconds, it gives you opportunity to be attentive to what you listen and to understand, to be focused on the listening skill. And if you need this help, additional help, then you can switch your attention to subtitles just a bit after, to give you the chance to understand what is going on the screen without this help. Like the technique of shadowing, the technique of postponed subtitles, method of immersion by literature of Ilya Frank, and of course international voluntary projects. That is the big force, great power that motivates you to learn languages, that connects you emotionally with the language that you learn, that makes it lively.
Well, thanks a lot, Milana. Thanks a lot for this presentation.
Thank you. It was a pleasure for me to spend with you this time.